Going to German class off K. Yo, what's up? It's someone that's no one, and welcome back to today's report. Today's report was sent in by hellasketchy sketchers, where he took ketamine and alcohol. And here's the full report details. Alright, here we got a ketamine experience, which we haven't had too many of these to be honest. This is a first time experience where hellasketchy here ends up really liking it, and does it all the way up to the point he has to go to class. German class nonetheless. A very interesting setting to end up in. But I can't see it with ketamine, I suppose. He kinda almost breaks down on his first time with it, having anxiety and panic, but the way he describes it all and how he handles it seems to enable him and lets him find joy. It's a unique report and shows what's possible with ketamine. So I'm sure you'll enjoy this. Without further ado, let's dive right into this. I had the K on my hand. I was excited. I quickly locked my room, closed the window, and put some music on. I was kinda afraid of dosing too much, and that fear was justified, because I ended up dosing too much. And I had a beer before this, but nonetheless, I wanted to experience the K-hole. I snort the first bump. In 5 minutes, I start to feel weird. It was way different than cocaine. It made me go inside instead of outside. I had a little bit of stimulation, but nothing like an upper. It was more psychedelic and disorienting than cocaine. I could barely walk, and I could barely focus on my computer screen. Well, the music dropped. I started to sound more and more stupid. I couldn't really enjoy it like I do on other substances, or even sober. But it was still nice. Although I was alternating between watching Twitch streams, watching podcasts, PewDiePie, or just walking around, taking a shit, or laying on my bed. At some point, it was too much to handle, and I had to lay down and try not to freak out. Time was dilating, and it felt slower and faster in a way. 2 minutes could feel like 2 hours, and 2 hours felt like 2 minutes, kind of thing. Just very hard to understand and disorienting. When I was on my bed, I could close my eyes and leave my body, see my room from afar, and enter my body like I was an ant flying around my organs. I could not feel my face, my legs, or my body. I just felt the sensation of my skin touching my bed, and gravity holding me in place, which is something I got used to after some trips under my belt. I tried to make the most out of it and tell myself to chill and put on some M&M, but I was stuck in a loop. I was K-holing hard. I thought I was gonna die, and my heart was beating way too fast. I started to miss my parents, and a sense of doom started to infect me. I started to grip a pack of cigarettes with huge strength, like I was choking the pack of cigarettes. Then I prayed for a little bit and thought to myself, things are gonna be alright. I believe in God, and I need to stop doing drugs. Being sober is way better than this. At some point, I thought about throwing the ketamine on the toilet and just flushing it. I was starting to have a panic attack, and I was mumbling a lot of nonsense. Well, nothing out of the ordinary. That was kind of expected, as I have panic attacks even when I'm sober. So I just tried to chill and let the effects weaken. I just want to add, ketamine felt like I was having a huge extended orgasm. Felt like my entire body was having a non-stop orgasmic reaction, and it was way too much pleasure for me to handle. It was good, but it's weird to think that drugs can give you an extended sensation that normally only lasts a few seconds. That's probably why it's considered a therapeutic substance. And I started to get used to that dissociated, alone in the world, but safe from harm feeling. 3 to 4 hours had passed after the first bump, and I wanted more. The experience was ending, and I was mostly back to normal. I decided to go and just take small bumps to keep me going through the night. It worked, but soon I had to sleep, and tomorrow I had German class. I slept and woke up with a huge headache. Seems like it was more of a motion sickness kind of thing caused by the intense dissociation. Kind of like being in a car or airplane for long hours. I had drug jet lag. That day I had German class, and I couldn't miss it in any way. My classes are expensive, and they cost about 50 an hour, so I knew I had to go, otherwise I would be fucked, and my parents would suspect something. But I was addicted to the feeling. I was doing huge bumps. Then I stopped 2 hours before the course, dressed up, and started to walk to get food. I go to the restaurant. I was hitting my heads on the lamp, and the guy could notice I was kinda out of it, but I did my best to act normal. Lights were brighter, and it felt like I was walking on clouds. I finished eating and started walking to my German class. Lights are still brighter, and I'm heavily dissociated. I start to worry about my teacher noticing I was high, and she's telling something to my sister. Gladly, the lesson was not that hard, and with enough strength and focus, I babbled my way around and pretended to just be sleepy or overheating because of the sun. Though through the lesson, my head started to hurt because I tried to focus and learn another language while tripping balls on ketamine, which felt like hell. I managed to let 45 minutes of class pass. If I stayed the full duration, 90 minutes, I would probably cry and freak out. I usually can do this with ease while sober. I go home walking, and I still had a little bit of ket left. I start to snort it immediately when I go back home, and in 5 minutes, I was back in Mars. But this time, the trip was getting more and more psychedelic, maybe because of the substance buildup. I am lucky I have some trips under my belt, so it was not a problem, maybe just annoying. At that point, the visual effects started to be more pronounced. My vision was getting purple, and I can barely think of anything. I was just sitting on the toilet and taking a shit, while watching PewDiePie and trying to make sense of things. At that point, a huge sense of bliss that I'm still feeling started to consume my body. I think I was afterglowing. Felt like I could do anything that I put my mind to, and I had a huge sense of community while watching some trip reports on YouTube. Suddenly, I was not feeling alone anymore. I was not K-holing. It felt like I could see with more clarity the issues I go through in my daily life, the relationship with my parents, and the world was clearer, and I had less anger, less anxiety, and I was more grateful for everything.